Good evening, I'm Davina Smith and welcome to a special edition of Nine's Late News with the very latest from London and the Queen's death. And there's been an extraordinary twist in the outpouring of public grief. The queues so long to get inside Westminster Hall tonight. Officials are now asking people to stay away, with the wait time now a minimum 14 hours. These are live pictures at the moment from inside Westminster Hall. Now, there was a directive issued 3 hours ago. Southwark Park had reached capacity, entry to be paused for at least 6 hours. The British government telling people do not attempt to join the queue until it reopens. And it's caused a lot of confusion and frustration. We'll take you there to our reporter live outside with those queues. Tracy Vaux standing by for us to speak to very shortly. This, though, as the King completes his royal tour of the UK's 4 nations. Charles and Camilla travelling to Wales under a brilliant blue sky to honour the Queen, and the pictures have been stunning. People lining the streets, waving flags for a man who, for the last 53 years, they have known as their prince, the Prince of Wales. Right now, we'll take you to live pictures of the motorcade, the royal motorcade, moving from the Parliament in Cardiff to Cardiff Castle and waiting for the King and Queen Consort there, around 2,000 people. We're told the mood there is very much like what you would get during the World Cup. There's giant screens that have been erected over the green there. People waiting for their chance to meet with the King. And whereas in the last few days when we've seen the royals move around the UK, it's been a very sombre tone, today it has been really quite electrifying, and you can see how much the King has been buoyed from that. After a day off yesterday in grief, he really has a lot of energy in his step. There's no quiet hush in the crowds. They are cheering, they're yelling out, "God save the King." So much love for him and Camilla. Well, back in England, though, we're standing by to bring you pictures of William and Kate, the Prince and Princess of Wales. They'll be meeting with troops at an army training centre, soldiers from across the Commonwealth who will take part in the Queen's funeral service. And Australian service personnel are among that group, who will join a selection of remarkable Aussies and the Prime Minister, who will honour Elizabeth on Monday. Well, joining us live from London, Charles Croucher outside Buckingham Palace. Charles, good evening. It has been a mammoth day in London and in Wales.
Yeah, D+7, Davina, another mammoth day, and you might see me behind me. The flag continues to fly at half-mast above Buckingham Palace. Remarkable pictures of the King and Queen Consort, Charles and Camilla, in Wales there. That is the final stop of the home nations, the 4 nations in the United Kingdom. That is an ancient idea that was meant to proclaim the start of a new king's reign, make sure all the people knew. I suspect these people already were aware of what was going on, given the age we live in, but still, they turned out half a dozen people deep, a really warm and quite generous disposition towards the new king, and there were any concerns about his ties to Wales have been alleviated over the past almost 50 years in that title of the Prince of Wales. Now, the new Prince of Wales is, of course, William, and he is the Prince of Wales. Kate is the Princess of Wales. They have been meeting with Australian troops. Our colleague Damien Ryan spoke with some of them. They will form part of what is a Commonwealth Guard that will march in front of the Queen's coffin during Monday's procession. They're joining troops from across the Commonwealth. In particular, there's a big contingent here from New Zealand and quite a lot from Canada, as well as the British RAF and Royal Navy troops that will all be part of what is quite a large procession. And as all that goes on, we have these pictures, continuously moving line and moving for those that have been inside that room where the Queen continues to lie in state. There'll be more from the royals over the next 24 and 48 hours as they stand guard, including Princes William and Prince Harry, as well as Prince Charles, and his sister Anne, the Princess Royal, will become one of the first females to guard a Queen that is lying in state, or guard anyone lying in state. That will be significant when it comes up later tonight. But as you mentioned at the top, the gates are now closed at Southwark Park because of the overwhelming desire for people to get in there. That huge line continues. A directive was put out from the Palace and also from the Metropolitan Police for those gates to be closed for up to 6 hours. Tracy Vaux is at Southwark Park and is meeting with all those people that continue to queue. Tracy, how did people get the message about that queue being paused?
Well, Charles, initially it was released on social media and there are signs revealing that delay, but I just wanted to show you the picture here of the crowd. It is just absolutely huge. We can't even see the barriers because there are so many people streaming here. They've been waiting here since early in the morning. We're told potentially the lines just here at Southwark Park are a couple of kilometres long, and we're still about 8 kilometres away from Westminster Hall. They've also been told the people here who have made it through those gates, the wait could be more than 14 hours. I might see if we can have a chat to someone who's been waiting the line. Hi there, ma'am. How long have you been waiting here?
3 hours.
And how have you found just being a part of the crowd?
So lovely, really lovely, thank you. Yes.
And have you been getting to know your neighbours here?
Here? Yes, really nice. Yes.
How do you feel about getting closer to Westminster Hall? How do you think you'll
To
feel?
see that entrance of the park is just really nice anyway, just to get out of here. But no, we're going to go with it and stick with it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for chatting to us. So the mood here, Charles, I'll say, there's sort of a sense of camaraderie here. There are so many people here gathering for hours and hours. They have been having chats to each other, sharing stories, and also, I suppose, in this time, reflecting in regards to how they're going to pay tribute to the Queen. It is going to be quite some time for this crowd to move along. We've been hearing also cheers. Once they reach the end of this queue here at the park, they cross the road, they continue to make their way towards Westminster Hall. We've also actually just seen from the government another tweet. So these people in this line, it is accessible. However, the wristbands, those all-important wristbands to enter Westminster Hall, they've also been paused for now. We don't know how long for, but as for those gates on the other side of the park here, it's still a couple of hours away before they reopen those gates to allow more people here.
Yeah, Tracy, we're just seeing that update from the Department of Digital Culture, Media and Sport. In it, it says, please do not attempt to join the queue until it reopens and check back for further updates. So that also implies that may go even longer. Thank you for your time this afternoon, Tracy. We may come back to you a little later on. I want to show you pictures from the end of that line that is inside the hall. These are live pictures. I understand the New Zealand Prime Minister, Jacinda Ardern, is right now in that hall paying her respects to Queen Elizabeth II. Of course, she will show you those pictures shortly. She will be there among the 2,000 people expected to attend the Queen's funeral, not too far from where they are standing right now. There's someone saluting. There's been a lot of that, people blessing themselves, curtsies, bows, saluting, and just silently shuffling through after all the noise, all the camaraderie that Tracy was talking about in that line inside Westminster Hall, the oldest building in that famed parliamentary precinct there on the Thames. The mood is solemn and silent, and that is one of the things that everyone that's been in there, we've heard from our own Tracy Grimshaw and Damien Ryan, who's been in there, both say that it's deeply moving because of how silent. That looks like Jacinda Ardern on the left of your screen there. A little earlier on, she came in. The international guests have been filing through, as well as the members of the House of Commons and House of Lords. That is the New Zealand Prime Minister, who's arrived for the funeral. Her husband Clark Gayford there, or fiance Clark Gayford there behind, a curtsy and a bow from New Zealand's first bloke, and they paid their respects there as part of the Commonwealth. So that will continue throughout the day. Certainly more and more people are coming in and doing that, and if they get the line back open, that will continue all the way up until the early part of Monday morning here in the UK, which, you know, still feels and still is 2.5 days away. So there are hundreds of thousands of people that will still get through there, Davina.
And Charles, the point made that you haven't even reached the weekend yet there, that people are still working in London. So you're yet to see the influx of people who've got the weekend off to come and spend time and join those crowds. You mentioned Jacinda Ardern. World leaders, of course, get the chance to come and pay their respects to the Queen. Everyday people are getting that chance as well, and so are celebrities. There are pictures that have emerged tonight of David Beckham, can you believe, in amongst that crowd, and we have those pictures for you, waiting his turn like everybody else with that wristband on, waiting for what they're saying is potentially a 14-hour wait at the moment to get into the hall and pay their respects to the Queen. So quite extraordinary if you were either side of David Beckham for 14 hours, what you'd be talking about. We'll take you back to the pictures that are coming to us now from Cardiff. And Charles, you mentioned the weight and the grief and the sombre mood that continues to hang over London. It's so different in Wales. The pictures we have seen through the course of the afternoon there, evening for us, have almost been like a celebration of a new king, and they've really embraced the fact that their Prince of Wales is now the king of the Commonwealth. It's been an afternoon steeped in so much tradition. Everywhere you went, you've heard the Welsh harp played in the background. King Charles addressed Parliament, and it was noted that the first words he used to address Parliament were the final words that Queen Elizabeth used when she last addressed Parliament, and that was, "Our heartfelt thanks to the people of Wales." Charles went on to speak about how his mother had such a fond relationship with the people of Wales. It could not have been a deeper